Hello, Steve Arts 89, and just like that, Karen Pittman is leaving, and just like that. This is a little surprising, not totally surprising. Apparently, it's a scheduling conflict, and she is involved in 2 other streaming series. So, unlike other times where we've heard scheduling issues were the reason someone left a show, this person does appear to actually be working in other projects, so it's quite possible. Now, recently, Che left the show as well. That actress had some political issues with Hollywood, and I don't know if she's been cancelled or she wasn't coming back to the show. There were rumours about that, and I did a video about that, and then they actually were confirmed. She's definitely not coming back to the show. I didn't do a video about that because I pretty much had just stated everything, and it's in the news. No one's waiting for me to give them the news. But this one was a bit of a surprise, but not really. I mean, the problem with And Just Like That, and the only problem with Just Like That, because it's a great show, is they brought in too many characters. They were concerned about a lack of diversity in the original show, and they really wanted to bring on more characters, and it was just too much, and they didn't write the characters in well enough that they had some longevity. Like, Che was Carrie's boss and Miranda's love interest in season 1. Well, when Carrie left the podcast, when the podcast folded, she was no longer her boss, so she didn't have a working relationship with her anymore. And when Miranda and her broke up, there was no longer the romantic relationship with her, so she sort of didn't really fit in the show anymore. And it's sort of the same with Miranda's lecturer. Miranda was studying. She abandoned her study for Che, and Naya was her lecturer. So even though they became friends from her studying and everything, they weren't really in like that. You usually befriend people in sort of situations, and you have your work friends, you have your university friends, you have your family friends, and those sort of things vary. And when you leave those institutions, I mean, you can't leave your family, but when you leave like a job or study, it's hard for those people to stay in your life. So it's quite plausible that, I'm sort of buying it. It doesn't seem odd, but they really need to do a better job of making these new characters central and having their own stories, because their stories seem to revolve around the relationships with the original women. They weren't sort of set up as their own characters. And so far as representation goes, we do still have people of colour on the show. It's not like they suddenly someone was suggesting that they're getting rid of all the minorities. I'm like, no. Okay, they got rid of a bisexual character, a lesbian character, but Miranda is now a lesbian character, so they've got that level of that diversity element covered. And Seema is her name. Carrie's friend, who she actually seems to be quite a fitting sort of replacement for, and kind of fills the role that Samantha had to a degree. She works really well on the show. She's still there. I'm trying to remember, who was the other character? They introduced like 4 characters, and this problem, I'm having trouble even remembering them. That was just this random friend of theirs who was is it Lisa Wexler? I can't remember her name either. Her and her husband have a story, and she's had an interesting story about becoming pregnant late in life and so forth. She's still on the show, and she's black, so they're not getting rid of all the minorities, but 2 have gone, but they were new characters, and I don't think the characters really fit in the show anymore. They weren't really given their own story in their own life, so that's something they needed to do. They needed to bring these girls up to the same level, character-wise and importance-wise, as the main characters on the show. And they didn't really do that. It made them secondary to and reliant on their stories and relationships to those women. And that was always going to be hard to maintain. So don't have a problem with either of these characters going. I did like Naya more than Lisa Wexley, whatever her name was. She's kind of annoying. I liked, is it Seema? God, I can't remember their names. She's fun. She's a little Samantha-esque without being a carbon copy or anything like that. And her sort of, the conflict between Carrie's lifestyle and her lifestyle now and trying to be friends even though their lives have changed is interesting. So, yeah. I just wanted to cover it. I just thought it was interesting. So we've lost 2 people, and I think the show had too many main characters. and the new editions didn't have enough to do. And if they did give them enough to do, it would have taken away from the main characters. Really, 1 or 2 characters was all they could really add to that. So I think it's going to help the show overall. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Will they bring in other characters now, feeling a need to fill those sort of roles and those check boxes to a degree, or are they just going to let the show sort of organically be what it is, which is a mixed cast, which probably will now have enough room to give each characters their own time. That's what I'm hoping will happen. That's what I think will happen. But we'll see. If the other 2 actors go, then it's going to look a bit suspicious at that point. But at this point, people calling, racism, I think, is a bit ridiculous. But people are always going to say stuff to get clicks and likes and attention. So who knows if people really think that. But I'm going to go for this. Gets to 6 minutes. Bye.